Hey, everybody, Shawn Morris with Truth, Lies, and Political Bullshit.
Hey, good morning, Shawn. This is Tim with the Fifth Ward. How's everything going today?
Well, now that, I should say blah, 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 blah. Now that the elections is over, it's kind of quiet, right? We don't have
Yeah.
so much to talk about,
Well, let's
but
just jump right into what we know.
there is a lot to talk about for the actual elections, but I want to talk about something a little more important in the scheme of things before we start. And,
Sure.
you know, Yankees last night, perfect game. Don't know
Yeah,
if you know
very
that.
unusual, Mr. German. Yep. Or
And
Germain, or how?
what's more exciting to me is my boy Zach Remillard, our boy from Cohoes, Green Island, wherever you want to say he's from. But he's a local boy. And last night he was 3 for 5, Timmy. He's got his
Wow.
average. Yeah, he's got his average up to 385. Got 4 RBIs. On base percentage is 830. I mean, he's really kicking ass. When he gets a chance to get in the game, the kid's capitalizing, and it is awesome. It's exciting. It's
Yeah.
For me, it's just like, man, it makes me want to
The
watch baseball other than the Yankees right now,
yeah. Well, the
because
Yankees will be playing the White Sox at Chicago down,
yeah,
I think, somewhere in August.
yeah, I still hope he's up there because this kid deserves every opportunity. Get him in the game. I mean, the kid is
Yeah.
3 for 5 last night.
Yeah.
That's He was 3 for 3 on his opening act, and then now he's 3 for 5 last night. So hey, congratulations, Zach! You're kicking ass, and
That's
you
right.
got a lot of people cheering you on here in the local capital region.
Yep, I'm very proud of him, and it's pleased to be able to say that I had an opportunity to coach that kid when he was 10 years old on the Cohoes Cubs traveling baseball team.
Yeah, that's great. So
It was
great news.
great.
Congratulations, Zach. Just want to put you above all news because you belong above all the news and all the crazy stuff we're going to talk about today. So,
Sure.
Timmy, we're going to move right into the elections, right? As you know, we had the first ward. And I want to talk about the Billy Smith race because it was just a dismal, pathetic turnout in that ward. 89 people turned out to vote. 89 out of about 800 turned out to vote in that primary. And it goes
Well,
to show you how disenfranchised people are with the voting process. They don't believe they make a difference. They don't believe that they elect somebody who's going to make a difference for them. There's a lot of reasons people are disgruntled, but nothing is more pathetic than to see 89 people turn out to vote in the primary.
well, look at the. I took numbers off the right off of the Albany County website, and there are more than 89, but it's still dismal. I mean,
Well,
what the
you're talking about the absentee ballots. I'm talking about people that walk down to them polls and vote were 89.
sure, yeah, and it's
I,
pretty pathetic. Okay, and look at the margin of victories in that ward was only 25 votes.
well, you're going to be surprised when we talk. Well, you're not going to be surprised, but the
Yeah,
listeners will be. You're
yeah,
going to find a common thread amongst all polling places, all wards,
right,
that
yeah,
the races were close. The turnout was pathetic in
yep,
probably every ward. But listen, Billy Smith has been in office for 8 years. 8 years.
yeah.
He has been an outspoken critic when it's warranted, and he's been a cheerleader when it was warranted. He's a guy that looks at issues and is not afraid to speak his piece when it comes to the first ward and what's best for them. But he only got like 40 some votes. How
48.
the hell? How the hell can you be in office for 8 years and get 48 votes? I'll tell you how. You don't work. You didn't go out and work. Now I don't know if he had reasons why he didn't, but certainly you could get 48 votes by accident. And so, I don't know if Billy just got so disgruntled with the fact that these clowns down there in City Hall just dismiss him all the time. They won't work with him because if you don't kiss their ass 100% of the time, then you're an enemy. How dare you speak your mind and how dare you disagree? Because if you do, we're coming after you. The more you
And
speak the truth, the more they come after you.
yeah, well, look at you had fellow council members supporting his opponent. Okay, yeah, we know that there was some back channel going on. We know that Alicio was back in ISO. You knew Keeler was back in ISO. But look at Billy admits that he could have done more. And I think this here is a wake up call, and we'll see what he does because he'll still be on the ballot in November under the Green Party label, I guess. And that's what I'm hearing. So there's going to be another opportunity. But look at if he wants it, he's got to work for it.
Yeah, I agree. He's got to get out there and do more than he did because he could have
Far more.
ran away. I mean, the kid wins, well, what, 70 votes? 70 plus?
He got from what I got numbers wise, all everything from the county is Izo with 73 and Smith with 48. There was two write-ins, so the margin of victory was only 25 votes. But I
Yeah,
mean, look at it, but total. I mean, from what I can see, total on the website, 123 voters, okay, somehow casted a ballot in that first ward election. I mean,
yeah, and
that's pretty
that's
damn
counting the
pathetic. Out of
absentee ballots, right? Out of
yeah, yeah,
800 people.
out of 800 people in that ward alone. So it's
I
pretty
know that
pathetic.
only 89 people went to the polls
Right,
because
right,
that night when I looked, there was 89 people. I figured
sure,
there'd be a handful of absentee ballots,
yeah.
but it's still dismal.
It's
89 people walk down to the polling place to cast a vote. Either they don't care or they're just disenfranchised. Listen,
yeah,
I said to the people before you cast the vote, and my opinion is just my opinion. Obviously, nobody gives a shit about it,
sure, yeah,
but
yeah,
I said when the president of the council, who's a dodo bird, and the rest of the members of the council that march to the same dodo tune
right.
are
They all
telling you
went
to get
after
rid of
Smith.
Billy Smith,
Yeah,
it's got to tell you something.
right,
It tells you they don't like the fact that he sometimes speaks up against what they're trying to do, which is just follow the leader.
right.
And so
He votes what is probably 95, 90% of the
yeah,
time with them,
yes,
but that's not good enough
that's not good
because
enough. It's not
not
good
good
enough
enough.
for Captain Keeler, who
Right.
wants to run this state police ship. He thinks that politics is the same as being a police officer, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and you
exactly.
can't speak out against him because he's the big commando. But at the
Well,
end of the day, here's what I would tell you, and I say this about all of the elections. Most people, Timmy,
yeah,
most people do not realize the backdoor politics that's going on, right? Most
yeah,
people don't realize, well, Keeler and all the teachers and everybody who's a part of the Keeler clan is supporting Billy Smith. Now, there's a small a group of people, they call, they do their polling, whatever. But
yeah.
the overall 800 people are not privy to who's doing what, right? So
Hmm.
to me, although Keeler pushed to get rid of Smith, and McCarthy and them all pushed to get rid of Smith,
Yep.
Smith was an incumbent and lost. And the majority of people don't know that he's down there screaming and yelling to protect them because they're not paying attention. They're going about their everyday lives. But most people, I think, voted against the incumbents because 3 incumbents lost. And I think it's a referendum on Keeler and the shitty policies that he has and the bad things that he's doing, from the
Hmm.
ambulance to going after your garbage cans to not, cleaning up the city. So while he may pound his chest because he got his guy elected, most people that go out and vote probably didn't even realize that he was the one pushing for this guy. They were just voting against Billy Smith because he's an incumbent and the city policies are destroying our city. That's
If
my
you
opinion. I've been in
well,
politics a long time.
yeah, well, if you look really hard, what you see now is five new faces on the council.
Yeah.
Five. The only one
Yes.
hanging out is McCarthy in that pathetic fourth ward, where they can't even muster a challenger over the last uh, three election cycles in the fourth ward.
Well,
Okay, those
there's no
people.
doubt the reason that the incumbents got beat, and I think it's a referendum on Keeler, is because
Yeah,
of the terrible things, the ambulance, the redistricting, the dirty streets, the weeds growing everywhere. People in everyday life don't say a lot, but they drive home and they go, look at the shithole, look at the
yeah,
garbage, look at 787, $15 million investment, and they got broken trees snapped in half, and the city don't even go down there and fix them or clean it up. Go down on Ransom Street. If you go down to Rock the Block, okay, after we made a podcast and they knew their first show was coming up, they sent 50 people over there, cleaned it up, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But
they
just go
did.
up the other parts of Ransom Street that they didn't care about because nobody was going to see that in such large masses like Rock the Block. It's a shithole. There's weeds growing everywhere. Trees are broken. Nothing's been fixed. Hydrant markers bent. It looks like a rundown city, and they're trying to beg people for investment. I think this was a referendum on him, and and I think Billy Smith, as much he was loud and vocal, only those people internally who follow politics knows he's loud and vocal because he didn't have a bullhorn. He wasn't out there, putting out news releases or press releases or have a website or anything. It was just him being vocal about things he didn't like. But if you're not at the council meeting, Tim, if you're not part of politics, if you don't have a podcast where you're following the day-to-day stuff, most people didn't know. And I think they voted against Billy because the policies that they thought he was part of when he wasn't. And I think that's sad, but Billy better get his ass out there and start talking about what he's done if he's ever going to have a shot. And it's very difficult to win on a minor party line in the city of Cohoes or anywhere for that matter. But hey, Billy, good luck. I want to say this about everybody, and please hear me loud and clear. I applaud every single person, winners and those who came up short, for putting themselves out there because politics is a rotten, dirty business. People will say things about you that they don't even know that are true or false. They don't care. They don't know if it's a lie, if it's percent. They don't care. People will just say things. And then those in the political world, they're going to try to dog you. You got people calling you names, Facebook you. It's just a dirty business. I've been
It
through it,
is.
man. And so, to all the people that won, congratulations. To all those who gave it their best, congratulations, because you have more courage than most because you put yourself out there. And I would say thank you for doing it because if we don't have people doing it, what kind of government will we have? And it's not easy, and your family goes through a lot, and you may be thick-skinned, but you see your family crying when they're saying mean things about you on Facebook that ain't true, and so thank you everybody for getting in the race, working, because I do believe most people are doing it for the love of their city, and winners, congratulations, losers, thank you for trying, and those who were past councilmen, thank you for your service. Some of you have minor party lines. Get out there and work hard. You never know in this day and age. Timmy, I want
Hey,
to jump over to
the I think we
the
got the fifth ward next,
yeah, right. I
and
want to
and
jump over
and
to
and they had the largest voting turnout, the fifth ward.
well, the Fifth Ward always has the largest. You have most people who live up there have a very vested interest because they're homeowners. They pay the
Yeah,
highest taxes, and they're the type of people that go out and vote. You could say what you want, but you go downtown in Ransom Street, most of those people don't care about voting. You own
right.
a house and you're paying large amounts of taxes and you want your services, then you're going to speak out. So we had Biggs, who is the incumbent,
Yep.
and Tommy Dion, who challenged him.
Yeah.
And let's just talk a little bit
The
about
numbers
this.
here, yeah, and I'll throw some numbers at you taken from the county website. So in this ward, 423 people voted, okay, and four of them were write-ins, and it was really only a 23 vote margin
Yeah,
victory for Tom, okay. It was 221 to 198
yeah,
currently right now. Just 23 votes. That's
and
so slim. And you know what? The incumbent, this is again Keeler, McCarthy, Alicio, all working against a colleague, okay, that votes with them 95% of the time. Yeah.
99.9.
Yeah, yeah. And then they still knifed him in the back, okay?
Listen, they knifed him
And
in the
not, and
back.
that's nothing against Tom, because Tom put out a good flyer, and maybe if he gets the opportunity, he'll do some great things for the fifth ward. But basically, I don't care who you are. If you vote against this machine, you will be targeted. Okay, that
Listen,
includes Tom Dion down the road.
Adam Biggs
Yeah.
was a guy who was easily manipulated, in my opinion. He was
Yes.
manipulated by his own council. He was betrayed by his own mayor. John McDonald and the rest of them.
Go
He
here.
beat part of the machine, and it was only a matter of time. This kid fell into the political arena that I told him not to, which was becoming a puppet, following the leader, even though the leader was making shitty, horrible decisions, and they walked him right over the cliff, but they did it
I
behind his
told,
back. They did
yeah,
it
I
behind his
told
back.
him that. Right, I told him the same thing. He swung by the house. We had a talk for about 20 minutes, and I told him the same thing. I told him this is what was going to happen to you. I told him that 3 years ago.
So didn't I. I told him
Yeah,
that. I said, you might as well be a strong, independent voice and try to accomplish as much as you can in the first 4 years and not worry about getting reelected. Because if you're doing this because you want to make the city better, don't worry about 4 years from now. Worry
yeah,
about the 4 years you're in office.
yeah,
I know that he thought Keeler was with him. I know he thought some of them other people were with him. And you know what? Tommy Dion won because Tommy Dion did something that Adam wouldn't do in the beginning. And it was too late. Remember, public
yeah,
safety chairman,
yeah,
okay, allows this ambulance crap to go on, allows all these other things to happen because he's doing it for Keeler. He's our mayor. We got to
yeah,
support him. And they marched him off the cliff. Now, Tommy
yeah,
Dion and his wife and his family, I love. I think
yeah,
that it was
yeah.
probably the better choice because I don't think Tommy is going to be a follower. Now, I've said that a lot of times. I've seen a lot of people get into politics that I thought would be, people that would fight the good fight, and they fall right in line. But I think Tommy, I give him hope that he's not going to be like that because what I know of him and his wife and his family is that the love of Cohoes is just, immense. They love their city. Now, I don't like all the people that were with Tommy because it was the McDonald's and it was,
Ether,
Keeler and all. Yeah, it was all those
Keeler.
people that once ran the city into the ground. Now they're all back into play again, and the city's falling apart again. But even though he's with them, I still think he's an independent voice. I think he's a very smart man. I think some of the stuff that he said in his flyer has real value. And, I think Adam had that opportunity. He let it slide by being a follower. I think
Yep,
Tommy
I got
is
his
going
flyer.
to, yeah, I think Tommy's going to take
Yeah.
what he said and you can take it to the bank that I believe he's going to do those things. So, but it's a great example how split the Democratic Party is 25 votes in the biggest voting district in the city. And you know why it's 25 votes? Adam Biggs got beat because the poor policies of the mayor that he followed right off the cliff,
Yes,
the
yes,
ambulance,
I
and
agree.
all the other crap. As the head of public safety, he doesn't come out until he's embarrassed by you after the contract's been signed, after he sat silent on all the issues. These people sit there like bobbleheads, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they don't do
And
anything.
and and look at I told them during this meeting. I said, look at there was a meeting after that, and Keeler says, "Well, I don't care what you do with this task force. The decision has been decided and it's final." Well, if I was Adam, I'd have said, "No, no, no, no. This council here is going to run through the numbers. We're going to have a future, and it's being revisited, and it was unanimously approved by the council to take a hard look at this. So, is it final? We'll see." But when the mayor said that, he didn't even have a comment about it.
Listen, this guy is just a bully. You see
He
what he
is,
does to the employees. You see how he,
yeah,
goes after them and try. If you don't listen to me, I'll take away your livelihood. I mean, the guy's a bully. There's no. People used to say I was a bully. I was more of a union guy, helping workers and employees and the people in this city. Than he'll ever think of doing. The true bully
yeah.
is the guy that dresses in the, straight lace, guy who walks around
Well, you
like the
had an
proud.
open door policy,
Yeah,
Sean.
well, listen, I
People
was a
could
kid from
walk
the
right in.
projects. I was a
Right, you had an
projects
open
kid. I
door.
wasn't a
You can't
commander in
get.
the.
You just can't walk in to see Keeler.
You can't even see him if you can't even get in
You
his
know,
office. But
no,
these guys, and including these council people,
yeah,
can't get into his office. Or
yeah.
if they are, it's about 6 seconds of their time because he doesn't really care. He's whistling and looking out the window. Adam Biggs lost because Adam Biggs didn't do what Adam Biggs should have done, which has been a strong independent voice. Now, you and I fight all the time. about the control of the council and the
Yeah,
value of the council,
yeah,
how
we
strong
do.
they are. And I don't care how many times we have this debate. I think you're wrong. I've been in politics a long time. A strong mayor form of government is exactly what it is. The council has a role in getting the budget and all those things done. The board of managers with the mayor has a lot of power. They pass these contracts and you get to vote on them. But geez, what happens if there's no contract? Then there's no ambulance. So you have to have the courage of your own convictions. So there lies their power. They don't always have to just vote for something, right? They can say, look, we're going to gamble here and not vote for it. But then what happens? That's the only contract you have in front of you. And if it's under a certain amount of money, then the board of managers does it. They don't need the council. That's how strong forms of government work. I think Tommy's going to find that out. But Tommy's also a little smarter, I think, than Adam with the numbers and the politics. And
Well,
so,
I think what Tommy's goal will be, okay, and I'm just predicting this. As you know, this board of managers, which I don't have a problem with them running the city, but they're supposed to be. It's a public body. They are supposed to meet. They're supposed to have everything out in front in the open so that people can see it, and they're supposed to post the minutes. Okay, and the city clerk is supposed to be in there recording what's going on. Okay, that means if that board of managers is operating, I should be able to go down there and sit in that room, and so should all the
yeah,
council
they
members.
should be
Even though
open.
you right, even though you got the council president in there, there's nothing to prevent anyone else, including me, to go in that room and observe it. It's a
Right.
public
No,
body.
no, listen, it's a public body. I had public meetings.
Yeah,
I had it done the way it was supposed to be done. I had
sure.
all of the
So
minutes. They're all
so
posted
you,
online.
but
This
but
is a secret society.
right, but we get to see the sausage being made
Right.
when that's what my point is. We get
Right.
to see what they're talking about, why they're talking about it. But with McCarthy, it's all secret. We and next thing you know, a councilman, what we didn't know about that, and it gets thrown in front of them with an hour to vote.
Well, the biggest problem is that it's not just McCarthy. It's the mayor. He's the
Yeah,
one
I agree.
who is
Both of
sitting at
them.
the head of the board of managers, and he should ensure that the government is transparent. He is not transparent. Just go back and look from the day that I left to today. You'll see all of the minutes, all of the notes, all of everything that I
It's
had
all
posted,
there.
and
Yeah.
he has nothing.
Yeah, it's true. It's just you anybody that knows how to use that city website, and you can go back into the history of the years, go back to 2021, 2019, it's there.
So,
But
I get it, Timmy. The board of managers and every single body should be open to the public and transparent. I'm with you.
yeah, that's what I like to see that body do. Okay, look at they don't keep track of the minutes. It's in the it's written right in the charter that the city clerk would do it, but she says she's not invited in, and she's not given the time or opportunity to do it. And that's on the mayor. I mean, he effectively runs that board of manager, doesn't he? Him and the council president McCarthy.
Well, yeah, and they appoint the charter sets out the DPW commissioner, so and other
Yeah,
people that
yeah.
are all under
The
his
right
control.
department heads, the city, which would be the city treasurer, I think the controller's in there, and even the city engineer. But
Yes.
anyway,
So the bottom line is, I think Tommy will be a lot more open and transparent because I think he's just a little more seasoned. And when I said smarter than Adam, I don't mean, smarter in the sense of, understanding algebra. I mean, I'm saying that Tommy is more seasoned. He's been
yeah,
around longer. He knows politics.
yeah,
And, he's just a good guy. And I think he's doing it
yeah.
for the right reasons. So,
Well, look
you
at
know,
yeah, and I agree, Sean. And where I'm at is look at I think that he's got an open ear. And once he really knows what's really, really going on in there, I think he can get in there and start fixing it.
yeah, well, I guess we'll see, right? We'll
Yeah.
see what happens. But again, congratulations to Tommy, and thank you, Adam, for your service. And the one thing I do regret is I think the kid was backdoored by too many people, and he was too naive to see it happening. But
Yeah.
regardless, I think Tommy would have been a formal candidate no matter what. So the Fifth Ward, I think you're going to have some great service and a good representative. So congratulations to Tommy.
Sure. Hey, let's dive into the sixth ward. Okay, it's pretty controversial things that happened down there. Okay, but look at as you know, I'm going to pick on a Claudia Calendar down there. Okay. Okay, she still insists. Well, here's her thinking, Shawn. Shawn, she thinks that the island is alone by itself, and she says, "Hey, guys like me in the fifth ward here, we shouldn't be concerned with what goes on down there with when how they vote." But my message to her is that no matter what council member votes in whatever ward, okay, impacts everybody, not
Yeah.
just their ward. So when Justin votes for an $88,000 a month ambulance, that impacts me. And
Yeah.
this is why we have to be concerned too.
Yeah. Listen, people are passionate about the person they like. I don't know
Yes.
Claudia. I said it at the last podcast. I don't even want to talk about her no more. I don't know enough about her. I know she wasn't nice to me, and she said a lot of things that were mean about Tom Fife. But to each their own. She's supporting her candidate and the person that she likes, and I'll just move on from there. But let's talk about the race in general. So
Yeah.
you have Tommy Fife, who's a lifelong firefighter, lived on the island, born on the island. You have Justin, who owns a house on the island. I think both of them, from a personal standpoint, I like them both
They're
a
good
lot.
people.
They're good people. And I can remember talking to Justin, a couple years back at Rock the Block when I was going through all my stuff, and he was trying to decide who he was going to support, and it certainly turned out it wasn't me, but that's his choice. But I said to him, just be who you are. Don't fall into the I'm cool and now I'm a politician and I want to start being buddies with politicians, because sometimes bad politicians lead you down to a dead end street, and there's no way to turn around because you've already followed them to the end and everybody has seen you following them. And that's what happened to this guy. I mean,
Yeah, it's true.
he I think he turned his back on the firefighters, a strong union guy he's supposed to be. He picked a non-union ambulance. He didn't give the firemen a chance to really explain how they could do better, provide a better service, better response time, make it a better city. And he just dove in and followed, Keeler right to the end of the cliff. And I think it hurt him big time on the island. And on top of that, I know it hurt him big time on the
With the
island.
redistricting,
With the
yes.
redistricting, because he didn't say it to me, but he said it to other people. I told you he said it to Al Albin and a couple other people. And he must have said it to this Claudia woman because she repeated it, that it's a state law and he had no choice. And that in itself is either, a downright lie or somebody who's just incompetent on the topic, who didn't take the time to research it and do his homework and understand that it's a city job to be done. It's a
Yeah,
city's job to draw the lines. It's a city's job to make sure all of the people have the right representation. And in the end, he probably was smart in doing it because he would have lost by a lot more.
mm,
But certainly a lot of the people that disliked the fact that he separated the island voted against him. And it was a close race, right? I got to be honest with you.
yeah.
I was told that after the election at like 9:30, they were, or 10 o'clock, they're walking out of Smith's and they told him he was a winner. And I knew that he wasn't, because I knew that Tommy Fife still had absentee ballots that weren't counted and that he would pull ahead because of those absentee ballots. And the next day, sure enough, counted the absentee ballots, and Tommy went from being down 3 to being up 6. He's still got a couple more ballots in his favor, and I don't think there's enough absentee ballots that haven't come in yet. You got until I think July 5th or 4th. So the 3rd would either be the last day or the 5th. I'm not exactly sure. But they had to be postmarked on the 27th of this month. I don't think there's enough left out there for him to overcome it. And I think Tommy beats him. And
Yeah.
I've known Tom.
Right, and Gil went to the fire station and told Tom Fife that he won. And
Yeah,
then and he published a notice out there of who won, and he said this is our team, even though he got the two wards mixed up for, the second and third ward. Okay, the guys who won there, he got them mixed up. But Gil officially announced as a Democratic chair that Tom Fife won, even though the county is unofficial results still.
Well, they're unofficial. One,
Yeah.
because the state requires a recount because it was so close. The
Yes.
probability of victory was so close. And so I think after the recounts over, Tommy will win. I don't I've never asked Tommy this question, and I think I will, but I think I have a great belief that Tommy would not have ran. He would not have ran that race if Justin would have listened to them in the fire department and gave him some respect and time to explain and stand up for them. But I don't think Tommy felt that he was given that respect. I felt he felt slighted by them, and so he threw his name in the hat. And you know what? When you throw your name in the hat, anything can happen. And sure enough, it looks like Fife is going to win. Now he'll sit on the council. He'll still be a firefighter. He'll have all of the knowledge to work with this ambulance debacle that the city's got. And I think Justin's going to have to sit back and think, why did I lose? And I think I can tell you with great confidence, you divided the island, you gave out the wrong information, and you slighted the fire department. And I think that's what cost them the election. Close as hell. But I think citywide, we see the Democratic Party split down the middle. Those who vote based on who they know and who they like, and those who
Yeah.
vote based on issues. And at the
Right.
end of
You
the
know.
day, I said it a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
This is a reflection of Keeler. He may have,
Yeah.
Keeler may on the internal say, well, I helped Tommy Dion, I helped Izzo. Well, the public don't know that you were pushing for them. And most of the people in the public voted the way they saw it was fit, and that was to get rid of incumbents, even though you supported a few of them or you double dipped because you were screwing Adam. And technically, I think you were screwing Tommy. You just, one of them had to win, and you were supporting both of them, or at least telling them that you were supporting them. At least that's what I would believe. I know he was
Yeah.
telling Adam he
I
was
know
with
that,
him.
right. I know that Keeler dumped $1,000 into the ISO Team ISO campaign. One
Yeah, they
thousand.
wanted Smith out in the worst way, so they
Yeah.
got rid of Smith and they got Tommy. So he'll
Yeah.
have to deal with the same type of person, a stand-up guy who will
Hmm.
vote with the Democrats for the majority of the time because most of the stuff that they do is not reflective of policy. It's more
Yeah.
reflective of accepting grants and
Well,
that kind of
well,
thing.
well. What I want to say, in my opinion, what happened in the Sixth Ward is essentially those two things. I think the decision to divide the island hurt badly, and then the back in this ambulance and costing everybody 88 grand a month because he wasn't open minded. And you said it best. He went right over the cliff with this thing, and and it boiled down to, I think, dividing the island and removing people that may have voted for him, okay, and dumped them into the third ward.
Yeah,
So
I think if they didn't divide it, Tommy would have had more of a plurality. I know a lot of people down there, EMS
yeah,
workers,
yeah, in that
firefighters,
area,
people related. Yeah, and that one section was pretty much a
Fife,
section I think that would have went for Tommy. But
yeah,
certainly, I don't know if it would have made him win, because
yeah.
I'm sure Justin had some votes down there. But
Well,
at
there
the end,
might have been a lot of happier people if the island wasn't
well,
divided and ambulance.
that's my point. That
Yeah,
in that section that got moved,
yeah,
maybe Tommy would have had more votes, but would he have had enough overall if people weren't unhappy that they divided the island and they supported almost $1 million
right.
a year in an ambulance company, and
Yeah,
overall it
yeah,
hurt him. I think it hurt him. I think he could sit back and reflect on it, and I think in the end that's why the kid lost. And but again, I thank him for his service because it takes a lot of guts to be out there doing
yeah,
this, and I thank Tommy for having the courage to run. And hey, listen, it's time to try to unite the party and the people and start focusing on the city. And I
yeah,
think overall, I talk to a lot of people, so don't you, but I talk to a
yeah,
lot of people, and they all said the same thing to me. Time for some of these incumbents to go. The city's dirty, you know. Uh, it's not the same. The attention to detail is not there. The personal touch is not there. People want to be able to walk in, shake your hand, talk to you, complain for a little bit, ask you to try to help them. They don't expect everything to get done, but they expect to have some kind of personal relationship. And I don't think that the city has that anymore. And I think people are disgusted. I think you've seen it. 3 incumbents lost. Say what you want. You could be the mayor and say, I backed those guys that won. But in the end of the day, the people that voted, they don't all know that. They just see 3 incumbents that had to go because of the poor policies. And the mayor's let a lot of people off the cliff. He could smile today thinking that he was the winner because he supported some of them, but most people don't know he was supporting them, and they were voting against him and his policies.
Yeah, and look at that. I mean, I think it's a plus plus getting rid of Don Russell, even though he did it voluntarily. Okay, and look at Chris Briggs. He put in 8 years, but you know, I'm glad Chris Briggs is gone too,
Yeah,
because
so am I.
essentially he was nothing more than a yes man and a rat, and no one person more than him that I know of has voted to increase taxes on the people of Cohoes more than Chris Briggs. He did it when he was on the school board, and he did it when he was on this the Common Council.
Well,
Okay.
hey, listen, I thank Chris for running. We had a decent relationship in the beginning, had a terrible relationship in the end. I hold no grudges against him, but I do think that,
I don't either.
these
I,
guys with their little move the lines to keep people from running, because when you look at the overall voting process here, right, and the people that went out and voted, moving those lines did nothing to increase voter participation. And in fact, it
I think
probably
it killed it.
decreased. Yes, it
It
probably
did.
decreased
It
it.
killed it.
And those lines weren't moved because there's more people living on the island. Those lines were moved to keep certain people from running.
And
And
I did the numbers, Shawn. Only 839 people showed up to vote. Okay,
yeah,
total in the whole city,
yeah.
839.
It's lousy. It's a lousy turnout. Those lines being moved was just a political, dirty gerrymandering process.
Yeah,
People ain't stupid. They want to
right,
think people are dumb. Listen, just because people are busy with their lives every day and they don't engage like you and I and political junkies, they're smart. They're
yeah. And
smart,
look at and
and
let's
they're
just
watch and they
right.
listen.
Let's just touch quickly on the third ward, though. Okay, only 47 people voted in that ward. Okay, 39 for George Salina, and I apologize if I got his name wrong. Over Mr. Lopez, Jose Lopez, 39-7, um, and 32 votes went to Salina. But keep in mind, of 47 people who voted in the third ward, what happened to the people on the island that were pushed into the third ward? Did
No,
they not vote?
they probably didn't vote. They probably said we're disgruntled. They probably didn't really know where they were supposed to go. There was listen. I said this from day one when they were doing the redistricting. This is a process where people have to have the opportunity to be at a meeting, not just one, maybe two or three meetings with their representative, Justin, at the time, to explain the A to Z's why this is happening, why they're looking at it, what will happen if there's a division and where will they move to, and all those good things. But you know what? Nobody told them nothing. They had no meetings, they had no engagement. And it's the only process that I know in government where they really, really should be the focal point of the engagement, because it is about those people and those people who want to have representation of their choice and have the parts of their city intact, because it means so much to them within those wards, right? St. Michael's is a church, it's a Polish church, right? A lot of Polish people, Ukrainian people live on the island. That's why that church is there. But if they move that church to another ward and move people out of it, they'd say, why are you doing that to our church? Doesn't mean they still can't go. It just
Right.
means that, in essence, somebody didn't care enough to say, this is really important to you, and we're not going to take it out of your little fiefdom of the
Your
city.
little niche, right? Yeah.
Right.
Look
And
at
that's the whole
think
point of redistricting.
right, and think about this. This is stunning. Okay, Bill Smith, as a incumbent, he lost his election. Okay, but he got 48 votes. He got more votes than the amount of people who voted in a whole third ward that with 47 people voted.
Yeah.
Him alone. That's how pathetic it was in the third ward.
Listen, I don't want people to say, "Oh, Shawn's just a disgruntled guy," because to tell you the truth,
It's
I
not.
got the best life in the world, and I'm far better off not being in politics, where I spent 99.9% of my day in my life. Now I focus on my family and my
Yeah.
grandkids, and it's the greatest
Yeah.
gift I ever had. But they have screwed up everything, from the ambulance to the streets to the redistricting to where you vote. Everything is being, half-assed, and
Yeah.
nobody cares. And when you
Yeah.
don't care, you get a city that turns into a shithole. And I know there's a lot of proud people in this city that will say Shawn Cohoes ain't a shithole, but Shawn's opinion is Cohoes is turning into a shithole. And I don't see it getting better. And I don't believe the council has the power to make it better. I think, if anything, I'd like to see is that when the council does disagree or members disagree, be vocal. Share your disagreement. Let people know what you're thinking. How could they ever
You,
judge you as their advocate if they don't know what you're advocating for? Don't
Sean,
just be
what?
a puppet. Don't just raise
Yeah.
your hand. Don't let Keeler just do anything he wants without at least sharing your concerns.
Look
That's
at
what I say.
I told Adam Biggs once he got elected. I said, Adam, the first thing that's going to happen is they're going to want to have these little meetings. They want to form a clique, alliances, and everything like that. They want to decide who they're going to install as the president, and all this stuff is going to happen. Okay, and sure enough, after he finally won his election, okay, after November, that's when everything started. So what you got is you got 5 new council members. And then what's going to happen next? I think they're going to be looking to form alliances. But what they really need to do as a whole is they got to come to a consensus of how to move the city forward and improve things, not to inform this clique here for the mayor, this clique against the mayor.
Yeah.
They need to work together if you want to get good again.
Yeah.
And that's what I fear won't happen. That's why I'm hoping guys like Tommy Dion, he is seasoned. I'd like to see him come on in and say, look, we're not going to take this crap anymore.
I think you will. I really think.
You
I
know?
like Tommy. I think
Yeah.
he's a great choice. I think his wife is wonderful. And I think every good man
Yeah.
has a great woman behind him. And Mrs. Dion is going to make sure that her voice is heard to her husband, because I can't imagine that she would just sit silent. She ran for school board. She's seen the problems. I think, collectively, they're going to be a good team. Every council member needs to just be a stand-up person and speak their piece, vote their conscience.
Right.
And if it's against something that you think the mayor wants, be vocal about it. Listen, nobody had a tougher council than I did. From day one, they just tried to stifle every single thing I did. I always used to say, can you imagine if I didn't have Knifka trying to kill me, and I didn't have Steve Napier trying to kill me,
Yeah.
and every day I was trying to do something, they're going around my back, calling the newspaper. The newspapers beat me up. The Times Union never reported in Cohoes, maybe a story or two a year. My first story was how I sucker punched employees because I asked them to resign. No, that's not what I did. I put out a letter that said I'm interviewing everybody, and nobody's got a job until we sit down and talk about what your visions are. And so please send me your resignation letter, and here's your interview date.
So
Because
look
you want to
at
make sure that the people working for you have the same vision and believe in your vision. And I don't want to be the mayor of a city and have a Steve Napier trying to, run me over with his grandmother's pizza roller like he did every day.
yeah,
Of my
Pete,
career.
yeah, right. Look at but look at maybe you and I can get together somewhere towards the end of the year, and you can photograph me scraping a few names off that common council door. How's that
That'd
sound?
be nice. That'd
You
be
know,
nice. There's
yeah,
one thing I
scrape a-
can't wait to do: see his name get scratched
Yeah,
off.
well, yes, Chris Briggs.
But you know what? Tell you the truth, I have more class than that. That's not how I
Yeah.
want to handle things. That's the Steve Napier of the world. The
Yeah.
guy's a slug. He's brought nothing to the city. He's helped bring the city down, and his claim to fame is he scratched my name off the door. I'm a better man than him. So
Yeah.
I'll hire somebody to scratch his name off.
Yeah.
I won't do it myself.
Yeah.
But I think in the long run, why it looks on the surface that some politicians can bang their chest, the reality is there was a loud message sent, and that the people of Cohoes don't want to be dealing with this nonsense every day. They just want to come and live in our city, have a nice, safe place to live, and not deal with all the bullshit. And they don't want
Yeah.
$100 ticket because their garbage can covers an inch up too
Yeah.
high.
Yeah.
This is how much $100 cost you in Cohoes
Yeah.
now, right?
Yeah.
And
That's
so I
right.
hope
Yep.
Tommy Dion will be vocal on that. I know Tommy Fife will be vocal on that. And
Yeah.
so, hey, that's the politics. That's Cohoes Politics 101. Thank you, Billy Smith, for your service. Thank you, Justin Alicio, for your service. Chris Briggs for your service. Adam Biggs for your service. And congratulations to the new people coming on board. Tommy Fife's
Yeah.
coming on board. Mr. Izo's coming on board. Mr. Dion's coming on board. So congratulations, and it'll be fun to watch as you guys evolve and see what you bring to the city.
Yeah, and look at
Um,
it, and I want to say something to Justin if Justin is listening. Okay, yeah, I mentored Justin in baseball when he was 10, 11, and 12 years old. Okay, he's a great kid, great player, grew up to be a great man. But you know what? I'm proud of him that he took his place in the world and served on this common council for the 4 years he did. He just made, in the end, what I thought he made was a fatal mistake that the voters decided that they needed to do something differently. But you know what? To see your kids that you have when they're young boys rise on up and become community leaders, how can you not be proud of them? And
yeah,
you're
I agree.
seeing it. You look at. I know the Izo family. You know, so it's a matter of will Izo, if he continues to win in the general, um, I'd like to see him be his own man. Okay, and
Yeah,
and and do his own thinking. All of these guys have to do their own thinking and stop saying, "Whoa, we're not going to follow everybody over the cliff. We're going to think this on out as a group, and let's do the right thing for the city."
yeah. I don't know. I don't think I really know the Izo boy that well. I know his dad quite well.
I know Nick and I know his brother
Yeah,
Paulie.
and his
Paulie was on
father.
my all-star team. I know Vonnie.
Yeah, I don't know the wife that well,
Vonnie, she's a
but at
great
the end of
girl.
the day, I
Yep.
love their father. He was a great
Yeah.
guy,
Yeah.
and I think the kid, uh, he's going to have to learn. The one thing that I never do is I don't call people a bunch of followers and bobbleheads until they start following and bobbleheading, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know him, but I'm going to give him the best chance in the world if he's the winner in November.
Yeah.
And let's see. I mean, I hear good things about him. He's got great qualities about him. There's a lot of people that supported him that I'm very fond of. And when they say he'll do good, I take stock in their word.
Yep.
Um, and let's wait and see what happens. But
Yeah.
that's the politics that we had on the 27th. I hope we gave you some insight on it, and good luck to everybody. And on to the next topic. I mean, tonight's
Rock
Rock the
the
Block.
block. Yeah.
I think Skeeter Creek's playing tonight. I think it's going to
Yes,
be a
they are.
packed house. Downtown's going to be full. People are going to be spending their money. It's going to be a great night in Cohoes. Hope everybody gets out and enjoys the weather. It's been raining like cats and dogs for about 7 months now. At least it feels that way. And I
What
think it
is
will
this
be fun.
podcast? Is this podcast 16 now?
Actually, I think it's 18. I
18?
think we did two, and I didn't number them at the time. And I just looked at yesterday's, and it come up at 17. So this is 18.
Wow. Okay.
So
Good.
you're as far off as I was. I thought it was 15. You thought it was 16, and it's actually 18.
Well,
Good thing I'm not following you off the cliff.
you off the cliff. All
So hey,
righty.
Timmy, listen. I think in the end of the day, let's keep supporting our city. Let's hope that great things happen, and get down to Rock the Block tonight. Enjoy yourself. Have a couple drinks. Go visit the city. Go visit the island. Go visit the establishments, the tugboat, Durant's. You know, Signal
Pe-
30 plus all the ones
Yeah.
downtown,
Yeah.
and help support the community. That's what it's all about.
I agree. And look at this is a wrap on this podcast here, and we'll record another one in a few more days.
Hey,
Take
Timmy,
care.
good to see you. Take care. Bye.
Yep.